Topic 3.9 The Constitution. The Constitution is the guide which I never will abandon. George Washington, Letter to the Boston City Leaders, 1795. Learning objective. Explain the continuities and changes in the structure and functions of the government with the ratification of the Constitution. The man who wrote the newly ratified Constitution hoped it would both follow the ideals of the Enlightenment and provide a working system to guide the new republic. They wanted to correct the weakness of the Articles of Confederation without creating a government with excessive power. To guard against tyranny, they divided power vertically, between the federal and state levels. They also divided federal power horizontally, among 3 branches. As a further step toward keeping government power in check, and to fulfill a promise made during the ratification debates, one of the first tasks of the new Congress was to propose a Bill of Rights. Federalism. The writers of the Constitution, or framers, divided power between the federal government and state governments. The federal government would handle issues that affected the entire country, such as national defense and foreign affairs, and issues that crossed state boundaries, such as interstate commerce and the postal service. States would be in charge of the issues that affected only their states, such as schools and local elections. As changes in transportation, communication, and the economy have increased the interactions among people across state lines, the federal government have become more powerful. Further, constitutional amendments added specific powers to the federal government. For example, the 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, gave Congress the power to protect the rights of women to vote. By the 21st century, the government accounted for around 40% of the gross domestic product of the country. The federal government was usually responsible for over half of all public expenditures, paying for programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and the military, and transferring money to state and local governments. However, most public employees worked for state or local governments, with the largest number employed in schools and universities. Separation of powers. The framers also divided powers among three main branches of government. Legislative. Congress makes laws, passes taxes, and allocates spending. Executive. Led by the President. It recommends and carries out laws and federal programs. Judicial. It consists of the Supreme Court and all lower federal courts. It interprets the law and the Constitution. The Constitution provided each branch of government ways to limit the power or at least influence the other 2 branches. Congress can pass laws, but the President can veto laws and the Supreme Court can rule them unconstitutional. The President can make treaties, but they must be ratified by Congress. The President can enforce laws, but the Supreme Court can stop those actions if it finds that they violate the Constitution. The Supreme Court interprets the law, but Congress can write new laws. The Supreme Court can order a president to enforce the law, but a president has the power to appoint justice. The Bill of Rights. In 1789, the first Congress acted quickly to approve amendments to defend individual liberty. Drafted largely by James Madison, the 10 ratified by the states in 1791 are known as the Bill of Rights. Originally, they protected against abuses by the central or federal government. Since the ratification of the 14th Amendment in 1868, most of the protection had been extended to apply to abuses by state governments as well. Below is the text of the Bill of Rights. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner prescribed by law. Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with a witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witness in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Seventh Amendment. In suits of common law, where the value and controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage other restrained by the people. 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Key terms by theme. Founders. Federalism. Separation of powers. Amendments. Bill of Rights. Founders. James Madison.